The story of Walt Disney. This is a very special story about a man with a big dream. Do you know Mickey Mouse? Do you know the beautiful castle in Disneyland? Today we learn about the man behind all the magic. His name is Walt Disney. This story is perfect for English beginners. The words are simple. The sentences are short. You will learn words about art, movies, and hard work. Are you ready? Let us begin the story. A long time ago, a boy was born in Chicago on December 5th, 1901. His name was Walt Disney. Walt was one of 5 children. He had 3 older brothers and 1 younger sister. His family was poor. His father, Elias, worked very hard every day. His mother, Flora, was a very kind woman. When Walt was young, the family moved to a farm in Marceline, Missouri. Walt loved the farm very much. He loved the fresh air, the green grass, the tall trees, and the blue sky. But most of all, he loved the animals. He watched the horses in the fields. He watched the cows and the pigs. He even watched the small mice in the barn. Walt wanted to remember these things forever, but he did not have a camera. He did not have expensive toys. So he started to draw pictures. He used charcoal from the fireplace. He used old paper from the trash. He drew horses and animals from the farm. One day, a neighbor saw Walt's drawings. The neighbor liked them very much and gave Walt a small amount of money. Walt felt very happy. At that moment, he understood something important. His art could make people smile. From that day, Walt decided he wanted to be an artist. Life on the farm was beautiful, but it was also hard. Walt's father became very sick, and the family had to sell the farm. They moved to Kansas City, Missouri. Walt was only 9 years old, but he had to work every day. He woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning to deliver newspapers. The mornings were dark and cold. In winter, he walked through deep snow. After work, he went to school. He was often very tired and sometimes fell asleep at his desk. But he never stopped dreaming about art. On Saturdays, he went to art classes. He practiced drawing whenever he could. He even drew funny cartoons for his school newspaper to make his friends laugh. When Walt was 16, a big war started. World War I. Walt wanted to help people, but he was too young to become a soldier. So he lied about his age and joined the American Red Cross. He went to France to drive an ambulance. The war was loud and scary, but Walt still continued to draw every day. He drew funny cartoons on his ambulance and for the other drivers. Many soldiers felt sad and tired. Walt's drawings helped them laugh. He learned that art can help people during hard times. After the war, Walt returned to America. He wanted a job as an artist. He showed his drawings to a newspaper company. The boss looked at his pictures and said something very hurtful. "You are not creative," the boss said. "You do not have good ideas." Walt felt sad, but he did not believe the boss. He believed in his talent. He started a small company called Laugh-O-Gram Studio. The company made short cartoon films. The cartoons were funny, but the company did not make money. Walt became very poor. Sometimes he only ate bread and water. He even slept on the floor of his office. Finally, the company failed. Walt lost everything. But he did not give up. Walt decided to move to Hollywood, California. He had only $40 in his pocket and 1 old suitcase. He lived with his brother Roy, and together they started a new studio in a garage. They created a character named Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. The character became very popular, but something terrible happened. A businessman took the rights to Oswald and hired many of Walt's artists. Walt lost his character and most of his team. During a long train ride, Walt felt very sad. But then he had a new idea. He remembered the mice from his childhood farm. He drew a small mouse with big ears and a happy face. At first he wanted to call him Mortimer Mouse. His wife, Lillian Disney, said, "Mortimer is not a good name. Call him Mickey Mouse." And so Mickey Mouse was born. At first, Mickey appeared in silent cartoons. But Walt had a bold idea. He wanted cartoons with sound. In 1928, Walt created a cartoon called Steamboat Willie. It was one of the first cartoons with synchronized sound. Walt even used his own voice for Mickey. The audience loved it. Mickey Mouse quickly became famous all over the world. Walt Disney was finally successful. But Walt wanted to dream bigger. He wanted to create a full-length animated movie. The story he chose was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. At that time, cartoons were usually only 8 minutes long. Many people in Hollywood laughed at Walt. They called the project Disney's Folly, which means a foolish mistake. Walt spent all his money on the film. He worked day and night for 3 years with hundreds of artists. They drew thousands of pictures by hand. In 1937, the movie was finally released. The audience laughed, cried, and clapped for a long time. The movie was a huge success. Later in life, Walt had 2 daughters. On Sundays, he took them to local parks. But many parks were dirty, and the rides were old. While sitting on a bench, Walt had another big dream. He wanted to build a magical place where children and parents could have fun together. He called this place Disneyland. Many people again said he was crazy, but Walt worked very hard and paid attention to every small detail. Finally, in 1955, Disneyland opened up. Thousands of people came. Children ran through the gates to see Mickey Mouse and the beautiful castle. The dream had become real. The life of Walt Disney teaches us important lessons. First, do not fear failure. Walt failed many times, but he never stopped trying. Second, believe in your ideas. Many people laughed at him, but he believed in his dreams. Third, work hard. Walt worked hard from the time he was a young boy. Walt once said a famous quote, "If you can dream it, you can do it." So if you are learning English, remember Walt Disney. It is okay to make mistakes. It is okay to feel tired. Just keep dreaming and keep practicing.